Are you stuck? What about unhappy? Join Alena Chapman, author, mentor, and life coach for 30-minute moments as she challenges you to get out of the doldrum and start living your life to the fullest. It's time to celebrate that life with 30-minute moments.
Welcome to 30-Minute Moments. I'm your host, Alena Chapman, and this show is all about the fabulous ease and betterment in your life. That's what we help you do. One nugget, one little piece of gold, and you're set to go for the week. So tell me, are you excited to start the day? I mean, really, you sit in bed now maybe you're not jumping up and saying, oh, yes, 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 or maybe you are. But are you excited to start the day, just really feeling alive? Do you set healthy boundaries with other people? Do you smile more than 5 times a day? Heck, do you even laugh at least 2 or 3 times? And do you feel that powerful connection to your essence, your soul, every day? Now, that was four points I brought up. And if you answered yes to all 4, then great. My gosh, I want to meet you. You are flying high. That's so cool. But if you are not living in that flow and that ease and living your life fully, feeling good, and you want to, then you have a rare opportunity to just chat with me. Okay? And believe it or not, in a half an hour, I can give you something that's going to start changing everything. I've done it before and I'll do it again. I'll help you out. This is just what I want to do. It's Meet Alena. Just text 41411. Again, 41411. It has a nice little rhythm to it, you know. And then type in where you usually type the words, Meet Alena. And then my schedule will come to you and just schedule a time. No big deal. Nothing hidden there. Nothing. Just us talking. And I'll tell you what, that's a big step for you. And it's a powerful step. So I can't wait to meet you. And all right, now, talking about people who have made big steps, people who have changed everything. I want to talk about Reggie McKeever. Now you think, who is Reggie McKeever? Well, I'm going to tell you because, number one, I can't believe it. My brother is a police officer, and this man, Reggie, is blowing my mind. He began his career in United States Navy from 1991 until 1998. And there he was involved in several operations with commendations. Good for him. Then he joined the Bennettsville, South Carolina Police Department in 1997. Okay, so he was a police officer. And then he climbed to the rank of lieutenant and commander of night operations. You are a saint, Reggie. He served as a member of the Special Operations and Response Team. That's big. And he concurrently ran an award-winning boot camp for at-risk children for 11 years. I love that. He is certified in the first line supervision and has 18 years experience in leading police officers. He is certified in conflict resolution, ethics, leadership, management of field training officers, tactical response, and a lot of others. And he also leads his own church, A Better Way, for 9 years. This man is on fire. Now, he's been a long-time entrepreneur, but now, and he was open to herbal and metaphysical. He opened an herbal and metaphysical retail store, turned it into a 6-figure profit. Very cool. But then he has been working with millionaire mindsets for over 20 years and is actively pursuing, here we go, this is the change right here, his doctoral from University of Metaphysical Studies. Are you kidding? Look at that. And that's where now he has been featured on Dr. Oz. He has been on ABC, NBC, CBS, all over, sharing his gifts with the world. And with that, I don't want to wait anymore. Hello, Reggie.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. Love your introduction in the beginning. I'm doing great.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. All right. Now, I think this is fantastic. And like I said in the beginning, my brother's a cop and he's starting to get more into this too. It's funny how we are all starting to wake up and want more in life,
Yes. And that is great. And there seems as there's a shift going on where there is an awakening coming, and more people are saying it's more to life than this right here. It's got to be.
Gotta be than getting up in drudgery. You know what I mean?
Yes.
All right, before we get into this topic, you have a unique gift. Here we go. Where you're able to read someone's nail bed. Now, I'm taking that to mean my nail bed on my fingers, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, you got to tell me about this. What do you tell? If I showed you my nail bed, and does that go for toes too, or just fingers?
It goes for toes, but most of the time I look at the fingernail. It's always kind of weird saying, "Send me a picture of your toenails."
Yeah, that would be.
That's a little weird, but on the nail, what they tell me is they tell me exactly what energy. This is not fortune telling. This is not anything like that. When I look at the nail, every nail has shapes, markings, designs on them, or whatever. But these nails tell me what energy that you're projecting from the body as a dominant energy. So whatever energy is dominant in your life, it can tell me directly what kind of people that you are attracting in your life based off of that dominant energy. Now, every organ holds an energy, like the liver holds the energy of anger. When the liver is full, you're going to find those people in traffic with road rage and everything else because it's full of energy. As that energy is in the body, it sends vibrations out, and those vibrations form the nail pattern, and that is what I read.
It makes total sense. And I know now everyone's going, oh, woo woo, but but you know what? It really is. And if you think about it, if you just think about it, was it Dr. Lipton? Dr. Lipton in 1969 proved that every cell in our body is totally subjective to outside circumstances in its health. Okay, so if that's the case, all listeners out there, if your cells are affected by outside circumstances, meaning chemicals it's fed, environment, the cold versus the hot, everything, pollutants, it affects the cells. Now, if that's true and you are angry all the time, doesn't it make sense that the hormones you would release inside from your brain would be that of the fight or flight or of the anger?
Right.
Yeah, right. And it would go down into every cell. So why in the name of heaven would it not show up in your nails? Why in the name of heaven would it not show up in some of those achy joints you have? Why doesn't it show up in the liver? Do you see what I'm saying? It's not woo-woo. It's really very logical.
That's right. And that energy also drains certain nutrients from the body. That explains why some people are burning up more vitamin D than others, because whenever the energy is off in that organ, it requires more nutrients. And we're walking around constantly with too much fear, too much anger, too much worry that's inhabiting our life experience. And that's literally draining the life from us.
But Reggie, have you not looked at the news? I'm playing the naysayer. Here we go. But have you not looked at the news? And have you not seen all the terribleness that's going on? I mean, our world is going to crap. If that, some people may feel that way. And so what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to put my head in the sand?
Well, the thing is, sometimes you have to guard what you hear. And if you think about it, everything in the news is about getting us emotional.
Yeah.
And when we are emotional, we become irrational. When we become emotional, we become controllable. So what happens is we have to have time where we guard what comes into our ear, because if you're full of emotion and you're hearing emotion all the time, you become no worldly good. And we have to get to the place where we start seeking, how can we balance ourselves and how can we guard what comes into us so that we can make it more of an impact in the world instead of being affected by the world?
That's true. And I know, and listeners out there, I know it's very interesting because even I have done this. You get trained. You get trained for it. It's like you get up in the morning, oh my gosh, I have to have my dose of emails, or I have to have my dose of news, or I have to have my dose of whatever it is you're feeding yourself at that moment. And you look at it every hour, or you look at it on social media every, 4 times a day. And that is a habit. You're forming a habit of negativity that you're feeding your body. True?
Yeah. Very true. Very true. And even so, everyone has a perception of this world, and everyone sees this world in a different way. And your news could be catered to the energy that you're already projecting. No two people see this world the same.
That's right.
And your news and everything you see could be catered to a belief system that you have in the back of your head, and it's controlling your entire existence.
That is true. It is true, totally. I live like that, and I've had proof of it in my life, and I've had proof of it even in the world now. Is everything just perfect the way I would want it? No, but I don't get angry. Why? Because I know things change. I also know that it won't stay this way forever, or it won't stay that way forever. I also know that I just feel that inherently people are good. I see the good in them. That's my talent. I can see that wonderful, wonderful little soul in there. I can see all the good of that person, and I know that people can change to that on a dime.
That's right. That's right.
And that's my perception. Now, how many of you have that perception? See, that just proves your point, Reggie, right there. We're going to have to come right back very soon. This is Alena Chapman, and I'll tell you what, you are listening to 30-Minute Moments with Reggie McKeever.
You're listening to 30-Minute Moments with Alena Chapman, helping you discover your true purpose on WOWO and at WOWO.com.
Welcome back to 30-Minute Moments. I'm your host, Alena Chapman. All this ease and betterment in your life. And we are talking to Reggie McKeever. And I'll tell you what, this person is fantastic. Reggie, I want to talk a little bit more about this police officer, because you're talking vibration, nail beds. We're talking about, making your reality. We're doing all this. Now, that's not what every cop that stops me for a speeding ticket wants to hear. I don't think he would take, today my vibration's a little bit off, police officer. I just have this fast feeling. So I don't think this is a mainstream thought for police officers. Am I right?
You are correct. You are very correct.
All right. And yet you led, how many of them? I mean, you led an award-winning, I'm trying to look back at your bio here. You led quite a few of these police officers for a long, long time. Yeah,
and true. Even with the energy, you are the product of what you believe. So so what I teach was cool, but at the same time, you have to become the product. And that was when you're working with people, whether it's a youth-based program, whether it's people in the street, you learn how to treat people exactly how you would want to be treated yourself. And the more inner work that you do looking within, the better reaction that you have with people. In working with kids, it was to help them see that there was a better way than what they were doing things. And a little bit of positivity and teaching them how to come from within and look at the world in a different way would go a long way.
Well, see, that's common sense also. You know what I mean? And they responded to this.
They did. Because you started teaching kids. What made it award-winning was you start teaching kids to really look within and to really look at their reality in a different way.
That's cool.
Instead of looking at the cause of the problem, start looking at themselves as the solution to the problem.
And see, look at what you have done for those kids. You've given them a tool for their whole life.
Exactly.
You took anyone who felt like a victim, that victim card was taken away, and now they have full responsibility and know they can change anything. That is powerful.
Exactly.
Reggie, that's so powerful. I love it. And then what about police officers who are older and set in their ways?
Well, the thing is, being set in your way is a choice. And sometimes being set in our way is all that we know until a better way comes and someone has a chance to explain it and really cares. Because there's no such thing as set. Set is only, you're only set until someone comes along and convinces you that there is a better way and teach you that this life is about evolution and evolving.
Yes. Yeah, that's very true. And that's very true. So when we're set in our ways, we close off. That's what we do. Right. And so what you did, you somehow got them to see a better way.
Yeah. Basically what I did was begin to teach them and teach everyone that you're whatever's in the back of your head really controls your reality. And whatever thoughts sit back there, and it doesn't matter too much what you say, it's what you believe. And if you have a thought in the back of your head, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not intelligent, I'll never be successful, everything else in life we build on top of that, whether it's self-help, whether it's whatever, but the same results keep showing up. And what broke a lot of people out of being set in their ways is I would challenge them. What are the results that are showing up in your life? And what are you doing to change the results?
Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. And see that, and Gandhi, you know that quote. I won't go through the whole thing because it takes time. But but the root of it is belief. It's not belief causes your thought. Now, we always say change our thoughts, but I've always, and you're the first one that I've had on who actually agrees with me on this. It's changing your thoughts are fine, but it's not going to be permanent. It's changing the belief.
Exactly.
Belief is the root.
You have a subconscious belief that is built in the back of your head. And everything that's in the back of your head, your life will come right back to that point. So if you believe that you're unlovable and you get married, even from the time you get married, your marriage is already doomed because you have a belief that you're not lovable, you're not good enough. So from day one, you start a pattern of bringing you back to what the truth is in the back of your head. And when it goes wrong, it comes up and says, I'm not lovable.
Right.
So you're manifesting from a belief all day long.
You are.
You don't even realize that you're manifesting from.
You don't. But if you think you're not lovable, you put on these glasses that alter everything out there that I'm not lovable. And you actually, that belief will look for verification. Verification that you're not lovable. Although all these other opportunities to be loved are out there, your belief is only looking for the verification that it's true. That you're unlovable.
Yeah.
Isn't that powerful?
It is the most powerful, but it proves in a way that everyone is a manifester. If you can see how you're manifesting the bad things based off of belief in the back of your head, there are some shifts that you can do, and you can change everything that you're manifesting if you learn the nature of your energy.
Okay, very cool. Now, so you're saying you look at the energy. How would you, so they have to, with you, they have to look at the energy and then attack the belief. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. The first thing I do is I see the dominant energy in their life. And if the dominant energy is something like anger, then I'm going to know that anger is automatically attached to the back of their head.
I see.
I'm going to find out when I meet a person, I'll look at the nails, write down whether it's adrenal or whatever. And then I get them to tell me every thought that's in the back of their head when something goes wrong. And when they tell me every thought in the back of their head, when they write all of these things down, I look at the totality of it, and I ask them, whose voice is this? If you listen to everything it says, the tone of it, the pitch of it in the back of your head, every time it represents someone, most of the time a parent, that instilled a belief inside of their head subconsciously. So the nails tell me the energy, it tells me right where to go. And from the energy that we find in the nail, I begin to get the history of what makes them them.
This is so cool.
I can prove to them everything that they're manifesting in their life just by looking at what's in the back of their head.
I love this. You're listening to 30-Minute Moments. This is Reggie McKeever, and I'm Alena Chapman, your host, and we are talking about nail beds. We'll be right back.
This is 30-Minute Moments with Alena Chapman, helping you find your inner self every Sunday on WOWO and at WOWO.com.
Welcome back to 30-Minute Moments. I'm your host, Alena Chapman. Guess what? Guess what? It is my favorite part, you guys. It's the shift. And right here, we have Reggie. And this is the guy who went from a police officer, hardcore, everything, way up there, lieutenant, now is into metaphysics and reading your nail beds and getting your energy. Very cool. Now, is that a life pivotal change or what? I can't wait to hear his story. Reggie, what was your aha moment?
The aha moment that I had with myself was the time that I realized I loved what I was doing as a cop. I loved my job.
Wow, cool.
But there came a time where I was had a decision to make. I was going to get married, and I had to move to the West Coast. And I had to give up everything that I was doing if I believed in this love, if I believed in this relationship. There came a time when everything that I taught, I had to live by it in a different way. So when I moved to California, the only thing, gave up retirement, gave up everything, and I moved. And when I moved, I had to begin to really look, and that's when this story really came to life. I had to look at everything I believed, because when you move, a lot of times fear hits you.
Yes.
And I had to look at what I was believing in the back of my head. And I was good as long as I had a house, cars, I was secure. And my worst fear was, could I make it having to start all the way over again? This shift caused me to look at live my greatest fear. And in my greatest fear, I had to look in the back of my head and see what I was believing. And back in my head, I saw things that I did not like. And I had to look back there, and I saw that I was afraid of this. I was afraid of change. I was the type person that if you tell me I've got to be somewhere at a certain time, the next day it messed my whole day up. And it caused me to face all of these things. And then I looked within and identified everything I believed. It was attached to dreams I was having. It was attached to all kinds of things. And I had to sit with what that I believe, and I began changing what I believe by addressing my truths. And you'd be surprised what I found in my childhood that made a difference in my today.
Oh, everything. You know, I believe it totally. From the time I'm actually changing a belief in mine, because when I was 3 years old, I remember this. And this is true, guys, that you start forming your belief system from the day you're born to about 7 years old. Not that it doesn't keep altering, but that's the major part, because we're like sponges. We take everything in. And I remember, my mom was in the hospital having my brother. And my mom wasn't always right there. I felt very independent then, too. But my dad was making eggs, and he burnt the eggs. And I remember I sat down with all the little puppies. My mom had a lot of dogs she was showing at that time. Sat down with the puppies, and I said, okay, I guess I'm on my own. And now that sounds little, a 3-year-old saying, oh, how cute, she's on her own, But that stuck with me. And it created a very independent person. Very independent. So now, in my later years, we do not need to know the exact number. I am looking at that and saying, independence good, but we need to, soften that a little. It takes others. It takes many to build anything in this world. Love, business, happiness. It takes others. We're social animals. Let's get that independence to soften. But see, independence guided my whole entire life. If I can't, the New York song, if I can't make it there, I can't make it. All that kind of music, all that independent kind of stuff. That was my music. Interesting, isn't it?
Very interesting. Very interesting.
But I bet we all do that. We all have something that's back there that's guiding every move we make, and we don't know it.
Yeah, and what I teach is one day all of these things come into reality. And when I sit down and talk to over 500 or more people, I find out that it's one day and one thing that they saw that activated what they believe, and how they interpreted it is everything. And most people interpreted what they saw as a child, they interpret it as the wrong way, and they begin to live from that belief.
Wow. See?
Mine started from something that was told to me, and the way I perceived it. And the way I perceived it took me through divorce court and other things, because I believed from that standpoint that love was a bad thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the kicker was, once you program the subconscious mind, it automatically keeps you away from love. So when I said love was bad because love hurt, every time I got close to love within a relationship, I would sabotage the relationship and didn't know why I was sabotaging the relationship.
I don't love your belief, but I love that example, because how many times do we sabotage love? And it's because of something that's going on in the back. Oh.
Yeah, we sabotage finances. We sabotage health. And our subconscious mind, once we program it, it keeps that a reality. It even controls, if I told you something that was opposite of what you believe in your subconscious mind, if I said there was no higher power, there was no God, there was no anything, if you believe in God, you start producing a chemical based off of that to reject me before your mind even comprehends what I'm saying. Oh. And we have a chemical response to people, a wall where you feel like you can't hug people in your life. You have a wall that says it's something between us. But most of the time it's not a wall. You're feeling the juice of your belief.
You're feeling the juice of your belief. I love this. How do people get hold of you if they're interested in learning more?
If people want to get a hold of me, I'm a big email person, and you can shoot me an email at ReggieMcKeever.com, Reggie at ReggieMcKeever.com.
And spell that, Reggie, Reggie.
At Reggie McKeever, MCKI, V as in Victor, ER.
Right, exactly. Okay. And .com. Perfect. All right, guys. So start looking at your results. Are you getting what you want? What's going on back there? And what's going on in that head and that subconscious mind and those old beliefs? That is what's driving the force. And if you are interested in talking to me, then dial that 41411 and we can talk and see how to add that betterment and ease in your life. So take that little gem this week. Take a look at yourself. Start getting the results you want in your life. Start living happier. And of course, always, namaste.
This has been 30-Minute Moments featuring Alena Chapman. If you missed an episode, download it now at wowo.com.
Podcasts by Federated Media.